kitchen table interviews.
Yeah.
That's what we should name it. Just kitchen table.
Well, thank you for joining me, Richie. I'm going to timestamp this February 16th, 2025 at 12:52 p.m. How are you doing so far this year?
Actually pretty good. I mean, let's see. Last year started a new job in the mid-June.
Yeah.
I got to travel a lot between California and Virginia, and still need to make it out to Chile.
Dang.
So yeah, it's
Staying busy.
Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised seeing you at Robin's Nest the other day.
Yeah, it's literally just like 3 minutes away from my office. So I was like,
that's funny.
Might as well grab some lunch.
Do you have any goals that you're working towards this year?
I bought I bought 10 servers. I gave 2 to Randy.
Yeah.
And I sold the other 6 off. But it's basically to learn Nutanix, which is a hyper-converged infrastructure application, like product stack. Just because, I got my VMware Certified Professional certificate.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, part of my education plan was like learning Azure Cloud Engineer stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Might as well throw another freaking technology into there. And it's also because my workplace uses it. So it's
nice.
Cloud Engineer is probably where job market would probably look good, because that's where everything is.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff has changed. I'm slowly starting to use more Azure stuff, like in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're working towards getting everyone on Intune. That's been kind of a challenge, just because of the way the state works with how we do stuff.
Yeah,
it's a lot of manual process. So
yeah, that's always like been a government thing. It's just they're kind of behind the power curve on a lot of things, just because they have all the regulations and stuff that they have to go through. But
yeah,
it's
all red tape stuff.
Yeah.
So what drives you to get up every morning? What keeps you going?
That's hard, because just like, I imagine that there's a lot of people who just wake up in the morning and just hate life.
Yeah.
And I feel that way too a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it's not really like me being as outward as I am. It probably might not be like like an obvious thing, but like, dude, there's some mornings where I just fucking just wanted to stay in bed. Like, yeah, I don't want to do anything today.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there's always something to do. There's always something to learn. There's stuff that I want to finish, even though I don't end up finishing. Hey, Bear.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a real sense of like what gets you up and keeps you going is security. Just like, need to be able to provide for myself. I think a lot of people struggle with some kind of sense of what direction. I know some people have like family that they take care of, or their siblings, or their children. And I feel like everyone's a bit different.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's usually just knowing I have a sense of accomplishment in the workplace, helping people kind of in my own way. I try not to think, when I have my existential crisis thoughts, that I just like, I can't focus on that right now. I just got to focus on myself and what makes me happy. That's pretty much what it is. Why work is important for me.
Yeah.
But I enjoy my free time. Like my weekends kind of just fill up with stuff I like to do, or even just like sleeping. Sometimes I just like take a nap.
Yeah, it's just taking a nap, even though it's like one of the most basic things. It's like, dude, in this world where there's so much stupid drama that people can get involved in. There's just like, there's the economy, there's freaking stuff going on in your personal life. Just take the time, just take a nap.
Yeah,
it's
like a good reset.
Yeah, it is a good reset, because it's like, you're freaking tired, you're mentally exhausted, you're emotionally exhausted. Just take the time for yourself and just take a nap. If you don't want to take a nap, go outside for a walk.
Yeah.
probably one of the things like the mornings that I love the most are the ones where I like, oh yeah, it's like let's go for a bike ride. I just wake up like I hate it, but you know what, I'm just gonna go out and just pedal somewhere and just go like out somewhere in the Wasatch and just find a trail or something like. And it's always a good time, and it's always like a kind of like a it's relaxing, but at the same time it's like kind of eye opening too, because it just allows me to whatever crazy stuff is just singing in the back of my head. I just kind of I don't have to focus on it. I just focus on just just riding and like, suffering just for that,
being in the moment, doing the said activity of what you want to do. Yeah, I feel like movement is one of those things that most people stop like during the winter time. It's kind of hard to just because it's so cold. But I think having small things like going on a walk outside doesn't have to be anything significant. Yeah, goes a long way long term. Like as I've discovered, just short walks in the morning, even if I don't feel like it, I'll just bundle up, just kind of clear my head. Lately it's been playing DDR, and that feels good. It feels like nostalgic of all the times like when we go to the arcade and hang out and play together. I don't know, just stuff like that. I think any movement in whatever that looks like for each person is good.
Yeah, I think it's important that you have an activity that separates like what you can physically do, what you have to do mentally. Yeah. And like, yeah, mountain biking is not it's probably not like a great example of it, because there's things that you have to focus on to do to ride well. Yeah. But it locks you into doing that. So if you can find something that can do that, if you just go for a walk or something, yes, it does help, but like, it doesn't take your mind completely off it. You have to be, completely. I feel like you have to be completely immersed into that activity. Yeah. Like for some people it's working out. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of our friends go snowboarding or whatnot. Yeah. Like something like that. It's like I think it's the most helpful because it really puts you in a better mindset to actually come back and deal with whatever stuff that you have to do. Yeah. Just because it's like, like I said, it separates that completely.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any childhood memories that bring you happiness? Anything? Do you ever have like times like your happy place when you're doing something? For me, I like to think about growing up in an apartment complex and like all the kids I got to know. I don't know. As a kid, you see things in the world differently mm-hmm. than as an adult. Yeah. And I feel like that's those parts of my memories that I keep close to me just because of, you don't have it figured out as a kid, and as an adult, you're still trying to figure it out. But I like looking back at things of the wonder and adventure you'd have as a kid, just with whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and one of the weird things is like when you're a kid, your senses are a lot more like it's new to you because you're young. Mm-hmm. And that's why the day seems a lot longer, and everything's so full of just like wonder and everything. But probably just mine's like about the same thing, just playing outside with like other kids. Yeah. Hanging out with Cyril and everything. Yeah. And, like, when we picked up skateboarding, or when we'd go to play basketball, or when we'd jump on the tramp and learn how to do backflips and stuff. Yeah. Just stuff like that. It's just like that was always relaxing. Yeah. And it's just because like again, it applies the same. It's the same thing as like going out mountain biking for me now. It's like you're just there in the moment, and like I feel like a lot of people kind of forget that. Mm-hmm. It's like it helps out a lot, and some people pick up weird hobbies from that too.
Yeah, so. I think so too. It's weird. Like as a kid, you just accept of like my friends coming over. What do you guys want to do? Let's play football. And then you like drop whatever you're doing. You're like, now I'm tired. You want to play video games? And it was always just like, go to this person's house, play this. Go to this person, or go to the park. And times like that, I miss having friends to just be able to like you want to go do this? You're like, sure, let's go right now.
Yeah.
Like no context as to why, you just like, you want to go do it.
Right. Now, since we're all adults, we have like responsibilities and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I have this to do, or I gotta clean, or I've gotta work on homework, or
Yeah.
It's like times were simpler when we were kids. It's
Yeah.
not. It's just because of that. It's just because we didn't have responsibilities.
Yeah.
To look after.
Didn't have a whole lot of money, but
Yeah.
lots of time. So
Yep.
mostly it was just like hanging out together, watching movies or playing games. How do you spend your free time?
Now it's just like either playing games or messing around on like FL Studio.
Nice.
And then like I still have a bunch of stuff that I have not finished, and it sucks because I just start something new all the time.
Oh man, I hear you.
And it's like that's kind of a problem, but at the same time it's like, oh yeah, I want to learn something new, and you just put it into practice.
Yeah, it's so hard when you like want to do something or you're kind of involved in it, but then you kind of hit like a block, or you kind of just like, I'll work on this later, I'll come back to it, and then it just sits there. And then thinking about like, how do I get back into that mode of where I was thinking in this project or what I was working on. But I always just tell myself like, it's okay to just let it go, or just like, maybe I'll look back at it later, be re-inspired by it. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for me, it's I've learned that now I would prefer having dedicated workplaces for it that's free of distractions from anything else.
Yeah.
Like for my streaming, like my DJ streaming setup, I have like I use my laptop for the controller and like a separate like mini PC to actually stream to.
Yeah.
And it's separate from my gaming computer now, so that's completely just separate. My old PC is now, it has all my like FL Studio stuff. Yeah. Right. But like, I'm not gonna lie, my freaking living space is a mess right now. Like, I look at my desk and I was like, man, there's so much stuff here. There's so many boxes here. I just need to clean up. But it's been hard because like the last the year before, like I pretty much just kind of went through like burnout from work. That really sucks. I love what I do for work, but going through burnout is it's pretty harsh. If anybody has never gone through it before, like it permeates into like everything into your life. Yeah. Right? Because it messes with your like your sleep, your hobbies, anything that you want to have to do, and it's just like it's brutal. It takes a while to recover from it, but you have to kind of keep working through it. And even though you don't feel like it sometimes, it's like, it's as you continue working through it, things get better. Yeah. And it's just like everything else, things will get better, but at that time, just sucks.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's one of those things that when you are feeling it, it bleeds into like your sleep or your personal time. Yeah. You're actively thinking about the thing that's bothering you the most, and there's only so much you can do in a day to fix or work on that thing. But like you said, just give it time. Things will get better eventually. That burnout feeling, I feel, being able to identify can be hard. You're just like almost like an obsession of it. Like, I just want this done. I can't stop thinking about it until it's done and over with, and you're like, oh, I can finally breathe and do other stuff.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until like December after I got my new job, and it was in I left a pretty shitty workplace. Like managed services providers are not the best, just because it's always like it's always demanding. It's always hit the ground running because you're working with a bunch of small companies, or like medium-sized companies and stuff. They all want different things, and the company I was at was just like shit was just going out the window. They fired my boss first and foremost, and he was like the only like reasonable voice in there that we felt that we could communicate with, like me and my teammates would communicate to. So after losing him to like some BS reason, like things just went downhill more and more, and so like
morale.
Yeah, and it was brutal. I've like almost 6 years at that company, I've seen more people leave in that 1 year since he was fired, you know, and that can greatly contributed to like me getting burnt out.
Yeah.
You know, like we lost like 30, 40 people in a company of like 50.
Wow.
Yeah. That's like insane turnover, you know? And being like, I was at the time like the pretty much the second most knowledgeable person there, you know? So things just kept getting passed up, and we're just like, we're trying to get better, but we can't when everybody's, you know, getting cycled out.
Yeah.
We're trying to get new policies put in to make sure things don't happen, but then, you know, they hired like a new some guy from Amazon. He didn't have a lot of experience. They put him in the director position, and he just freaking ruined everything, you know.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was always said is like, hey, you know, in a managed service company where help desk is like your main interaction with your customers or not, right? Like you live and die by your help desk.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that kept on freaking changing too. So it was just brutal. Like engineers and sysadmins should not work on like any help desk stuff, but at the time we were going through it, and that's what we were doing.
Wow.
So it was brutal. But like because of that, I realized like I didn't even ride my bike last year. I hardly went out. I think I went on like 1 or 2 rides, and one was with like Sydney and Marcus.
Oh yeah.
And when did I check out the Switchblade? Yeah, I think that was it. So like only 2 rides. It was stupid.
Yeah, I hate that. Like kind of defeated in like the sense of something you would normally do, and then you not do it, or kind of just fall off from doing it. Doesn't feel good. But you know, like it's okay to pick up, and I feel like new job, new environment, and having set boundaries for yourself, and hoping that you get back into it like spring, summertime.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing from Taylor about the stuff you guys would do, like you, Randy.
Oh yeah, it's like I always want to get people to come out with us, but it's a hard thing because you have to be a bit of a masochist,
yes.
right? Because it's brutal. It's like hiking. You know, some people like love hiking and stuff, and it's like, man, you're suffering quite a bit to get to where you're going, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
But the other part of it's like, dude, you get to see things that, you know, if you don't, you know, go out and go hiking or mountain biking or stuff like that, you're not going to see that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's freaking amazing. You know, there's a picture of me, Taylor, Randy, and Johnny. There was one more person with us because there's 5 people in the photograph. But we're sitting up at like on the like I think it was Wasatch over Wasatch. So it's like it goes from pretty much Guardsman's Pass into, I forgot the name of the city, just like behind Park City. Yeah. Right. But it's a freaking gorgeous view, you know. And we're just sitting there, we're just taking it in. It was our first time riding that trail, and we're just like, dude, this is amazing. The same thing when we were up at riding the whole enchilada down south. You start at the top. You start at the top of Mount Nebu, I think, like 14,000 feet, some crazy stuff like that. You go all the way down to like down to the Colorado River, just right behind freaking Moab. It's like every time you can stop and take a look at a vista, it's amazing. You know, it's always like dude, I think that's the reason why I like going mountain biking more. Even though, it's fun to go fast and it's like to like play around on a bike or whatnot. Yeah, it's like going out and seeing things like that. It's you just realize like, there's more to the world than what we see on the day to day.
Yeah, 100%. So I feel like being out in nature is good for the soul, of like normal, like almost like hidden places you wouldn't go to unless you took the time to go either hike or mountain bike or whatever. I think that's really cool.
Well, like one of the reasons why I got the RAV4 too is because like I want to go out and do some overlanding and like, you know, in southern Utah and whatnot, because it's the same thing. It's like it doesn't matter how you get there, just go out there. You know, you don't need any like crazy gear or not. Just like go on a hike. You know,
yeah, at most go on a hike.
Yeah,
like,
at most go on a hike. Like there's plenty of apps and stuff that have all the trails and everything.
Yeah.
All right. It's like, hey, let's go check this out. You know, or I mean, technology's helped out a lot.
Yeah.
And I wondered how like people did this before, but it's basically like you go up somewhere and you'll find like a one of those information posts, and they had maps. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like just grab one. So.
I think it's cool. What's a skill you're proud of?
A skill that I'm proud of.
Yeah. Anything comes to mind? Any secret skills? Anything you're good at? It's hard to think sometimes.
I was like, wait, what skill am I proud? Dude,
I think that stuff that you do with like computers and servers and stuff, I think that's a very valuable skill. Like,
yeah, but like am I proud of it though? That's the question because
yeah,
it's like that was more. I learned that more for my job.
Yeah,
and it was just something that I've always been like, because I've messed with that. Like it's something that I've become interested in.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure if I could say I'm proud of that. Like, a skill, something that I would be proud of is something that I had put in a lot of time to like to master on my own accord, not because it's for like for making money or anything. And I don't know, man. If like probably the oldest one is like learning how to play guitar.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's like I play other instruments too, but the one, learning to play a guitar, definitely.
I love that. That's cool. Any current events or anything going on that you're passionate about? Any subjects? Anything around the world?
VTubers, no.
Yeah, VTubers, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's that is an interesting one because like from the standpoint, it's like, oh yeah, there's just people just wearing a digital avatar and broadcasting to the world. But there is a game, I think it's called VTuber Connect, right? Where like it's a visual novel and you go through like the entire story of it as like the guy, and he's like a fan of this one particular VTuber, and he ends up like meeting her outside of VTubing.
Yeah.
And they become friends. And it goes through like their entire relationship and like the human part of it too. And it just makes you realize like, yeah, even though like it's just a virtual persona, there's still a person behind it.
Yeah.
It's still like, it's not their persona, but it's still part of them.
Yeah.
And like, it's always entertaining to watch them just do their thing, because some of them are like they play into their persona quite a bit, but some of them are like I think they're pretty honest about a lot of things, because like they can hide behind that anonymity.
100%, yeah.
And it's just like, yeah.
It's like a lot of Twitch streamers that are VTubers, and they have like large groups and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool because they have like a plan or an idea of a character type, and they just become that character.
Right.
And like the internet doesn't even know who they are, just besides their voice, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. And like it gives you like the ability to play somebody or something that you're not.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you can mix in. They're definitely mixing a part of them. Let's be honest here. Like it's definitely them, the person playing it, but they have the freedom to do weird things or funny things or serious things, and it's like I know it's a lot of work for them too, because like they've got to set up the stream, they got to get assets. It costs a lot too, because getting a live 2D model rigged, it's like $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
It's like holy shit. Yeah, I was looking into that, dude. I was like,
yeah,
it is a serious commitment, but like some of them, the ones that do really well, they have like deeply committed fan bases and everything.
Yeah,
and it's just like. I wonder from the person playing an avatar is like like how do they deal with that? Is it like, am I going to let my avatar consume me, or am I going to like remember that I am me,
Yeah.
and this is just something I do to just, I don't know. I don't know if it's like for entertainment or if like,
Yeah.
like I want to figure out why they picked it up, you know?
Yeah, that's what I always wondered. Like, in the realm of like VR chat, having your own avatar of whatever you are, and then in the realm of like making that avatar be who you are, making videos, doing stuff, playing video games.
Yeah.
Thinking about one of the YouTubers I used to watch, Code Miko, I think. She had like her own rigged stuff of her own thing.
She does a lot of technical like overviews and stuff on
yeah,
there.
she's really smart in that, like in the realm of putting all of that stuff together, like facial expressions and all of that is really cool. And like where it's evolved now, where you can just create your own if you want to, like in a small space of just like an avatar. And then there's the more expensive stuff where it's like can track you, and all of that stuff is really interesting.
Yeah, it's the technology part of it has always interested me because, I mean, I'm pretty much a techie person. It's like it's always interesting to see how technology is used to bring people together, because like we see it in music, we see it in our watches or phones and everything. It's everywhere. It's a part of our lives that, like, if we lose it now, we're probably going to be pretty screwed. Right?
Yeah,
because it's like, the human interaction and like connecting and stuff. It's difficult, but like seeing like VTubers just kind of like they've exploded since like what 20 COVID. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's COVID.
It's just because people got locked in. It's like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to track my friends? Let's do it virtually.
Yeah.
And then it's, I think it's like an evolution of just, hopping into a voice chat with friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
Games. It's like, but now it's just like you've got, streaming services and stuff.
Yeah.
You just like
a virtual
go out.
space. Yeah. I think it's cool that like accessibility too for a lot of stuff, like the stuff in front of us, like being able to understand how to put something together and just doing it. Like there's no real reason, or no one's telling you have to do this. It's out of interest for yourself and what you want to do and what you're getting out of it, and hoping that like it all works out in your own way. I wish success for everyone, but not everyone has that, one thing that kind of tips over the edge and gets them into bigger places, and
the thing that makes you like unique. And then the thing is, there are some that had unique traits or a skill or something, but for some weird reason, they just, luck wasn't on their side, or they couldn't build an audience or something like that. And that's just like, it happens all the time. It doesn't mean they're not talented. They most definitely are. They put in the hard work, and it's just like, it's just unfortunate. It's just how the world is.
Yeah. I wish that everyone had success in the things that they find value in, but it is like that grind of doing it consistently, whatever it is. Consistency goes a long way, and sticking to it, whether you have one person watching you or being your own support through all like the hard times. Maybe you go a whole year, no one watches whatever you put out, but all it takes is like putting yourself out there, finding local events or activities, and kind of meeting new people, networking. And I feel like some of that stuff is hard because, we as people have changed since 2020 to where we are now. And like this to me feels good because I get to catch up with everyone. It is hard because I don't see everyone like all the time as much as I used to. And like usually for birthdays or weddings or
it's always some sort of big event.
It's
just not like casual, like, hey, let's hang out, or
and
it's like, well, I can't say that for like not seeing Maria and Randy and Paul, because we see each other like pretty much every week to play Magic. So,
exactly.
And it's just like with that though, I kind of want to start like playing Dungeons and Dragons with people, but I can't find people who are interested.
Ah.
You know, I think it'd be funny for our internal friend group.
Yeah.
Because I want to see like how everybody would play their character.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like if I give them like no restriction,
Yeah.
right? How would this play out? And I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing that just because it's like, you know, just do what you want. And
Yeah.
you just I'm giving you like a freedom card. You can be like an asshole to the NPCs or the characters.
Yeah.
Right. You could be evil. You could be good. It's like I just want to see what people come up with. You know, because it's like people are dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, there's like everybody thinks about like the balance between good and evil.
Yeah.
Right. And this is like, oh yeah, not everybody who's evil is actually evil. Maybe they have a good intent.
Yeah.
You know, it may have started from a good intent, but some way, somehow, you know, things got derailed. They lost sight of it, and they just kept on going down this path, you know. And like, not all people are good, too, because you got some good people doing good things, just maybe they're doing it just to cover up something. Maybe, you know, they're doing it to hide, like, some dark secret or whatever. Like, one of the funniest articles I read was, like, it was like, yeah, I forgot what it was about, but it was like, yeah, now you can go home in shame because you did this like horrible thing, but you were interested in it, so I told you how to do it. So it's like, what? Like, it's always interesting to me, you know, like the duality of that people are capable of.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, yeah, it
is really weird. Like any person can go out there and kill someone, but it's your own moral values to be like, why would I do that? I shouldn't do that. But human nature too. Everyone, there's so much randomness. Like you think you know someone, and then something happens and they explode, and you're like, holy shit!
Like, it's like I didn't know he was a pedophile.
yeah, like, stuff like that. You're like, what the fuck? Like it's all the stuff you don't see, I guess, for some people.
Yeah,
and like, you know, like you could know someone your whole life, and then one day you find out that they're have two families or something random. You're like, what? Yeah, I didn't even know. I've known you my whole life. Stuff like that. It's really strange.
Yeah.
Next question. How do you unwind after a hectic day? Like, is there anything
Sleep.
that you sleep? Yeah.
It's like, you know, like there's you know, there's days I just come by and it's freaking hell at work, or like, you know, dealing with a situation or whatnot. It's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna lay down and pass out. It's the easiest thing to do. It takes no energy from me.
Yeah.
And then I wake up feeling like, man, I feel better.
Yeah.
Right. And I can go back and like check in or do whatever, just go through it in my mind while I do something else. Like, you know, after that, it's usually like, okay, wake up. What's the first thing I have to do to get ready for the next day or whatever, you know, or like, oh, do I have like an arrangement I have to do with somebody? But at least I'm like not freaking mentally exhausted, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I have time to deal with this. And once whatever is done, like say if it's go out for a bike ride or something, or like, yeah, go out for a walk or like play with friends or whatnot. Yeah. We just come back and like, okay, now I can actually go through whatever chaos was upsetting me earlier or like freaking draining me earlier and deal with it. Yeah. You know, it's just like that little break is nice, and you know, sleep is great.
It's great. Yeah. Sleep is great. Have you read any books or watched any movies that left a lasting impression on you?
Yeah. When we were assigned to read Ender's Game, like, holy shit, when was it? Like when we were in 10th grade or what?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
I actually went and read the entire series, like all 6 books or something like that. So like Speak for the Dead, Shadow of Hegemony, and all of them. I read all of them, dude, just because that, like, the universe building, the world building, it's technically universe. It's freaking amazing, right? And then like Shadow of Hegemony deals with Peter and what's his sister's name? Freaking I don't remember, but like it talks about Ender's like siblings in that one, and how like Peter controls like the government now and shit, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. Weird. Yeah. The Speaker of the Dead is like how Ender like grew up and how he realized like what he did was like it was a traumatizing thing because he basically drove an entire race to extinction. Like basically, he wiped out the bugs.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but Speaker of the Dead goes on to like what he did after, and he's like, you know what, like since if people don't remember, he talked with the bug queen at near the end of Ender's Game, and he said that he would basically tell the stories of like the people who've died and whatnot to keep their memory going.
Yeah.
And that's what Speaker of the Dead's all about. So he gets brought onto a planet where these like they call them piggies. I mean, they're like some alien race. They like killed this dude and they like they did like some weird ritual for him.
Yeah.
And like he was basically trying to find that out. But he learns that about himself, like what he was doing was his basically like his own way of just kind of dealing with the trauma that he went through.
Yeah.
And he never really recovers from it until like the end of that book. So like, and the other ones were just like pretty much views from like the other ones. I forgot the title of the third one. That one was my least favorite. It came after Speaker, but it continues on like where it left off. So yeah, I should go back and read them. It's been a while. It's like I read them when I was in like sophomore or junior. So
I find myself thinking about that too, of like rereading some old books, because it's been like I only remember parts of stuff as to what order.
Yeah,
I think that's something I want to get back into doing, is reading old stuff or doing stuff I used to do.
Yeah, because your mindset has changed over the like freaking how long it's been, like 20 years since we've been in high school.
Yeah,
our mindset has definitely changed.
Yeah.
So going back to read those books, knowing what we know now and with our own experiences, like how would we think about them now?
Yeah.
Like what kind of impact would they have now? And that's kind of worth going back to, because like a couple of years ago I went and reread Ender's Game again, and I couldn't find a copy of Speaker for the Dead. I had my own copy. I don't know where it is. So yeah. I think I'll just probably go to the library and grab them.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any music or movie recommendations?
Of recent?
Yeah. Anything new you're listening to, or anything you watched recently? Anything good?
So Paul and I try to go see movies like every week.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks have been pretty bad, but like it's dude. Last year was a roll for like indie horror movies. Like I'm trying to remember what we got. Like,
wasn't there Smile 2?
Yeah, Smile 2. That was okay. It wasn't the best. Like my favorite ones were like Talk Show with the Devil.
Oh, Late
Night with the Devil. That was freaking great.
Yeah.
There were some like surprise hits too. Like
what was that? A Violent Nature.
Yeah.
That one was crazy.
Yeah, it's just like, holy crap, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's unique to have it from the killer's perspective.
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, the dude's just violent.
Yeah,
it's just like, what is going on here? He's just the guy, just kind of just living.
Yeah,
basically.
I kind of like how, I don't know, ambiguous and not really knowing the purpose.
Yeah,
it was just like this thing killing people, not knowing too much about it, and the way it ends was kind of drawn out, but in a good way of like suspense. Is he going to show up like cliche killer shows up in the road even though they've driven far away from it and all of that stuff?
Yeah, it's not like that. I think another good one's actually Strange Darling, because it's like we didn't see any like freaking trailers or anything about it. It's just like one, and Paul's like, let's go see it. Like, okay,
interesting.
And it goes on this wild freaking ride. It's the timeline of that entire movie is not in chronological order.
Oh, interesting.
And it makes it very, very good, because you're just like, what the hell is going on? But by the end of it, it's like, oh yeah, that was a good freaking, that was an intense movie. And it's a it was a good driller, I guess. So
Yeah, I'll add that to my list. Who do you look up to and why?
you know what? I in recent memory, I don't think I really have anybody to look up to right now. It's just because it's like I'm kind of preoccupied with a bunch of other stuff. It's like, like who inspires me to do anything or whatnot. There's examples of things, or there's examples of people I don't want to be like.
Yeah, I get that.
But there's nobody who's like
a significant person
that
you like.
Yeah. But and it's mainly because like I don't see a lot of that person or anything. There's people that like do something that, it's like I think is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people who do that.
Yeah.
Right. But there's not a single person that's like, damn, that guy's like, or girl is freaking totally amazing. I want to be like them.
Yeah.
And it's just because like I don't want to be like anybody else.
Yeah,
I just want to be myself. It's like, and in a way, because of that, I want to find things that I'm good at and continue working on them.
Mm-hmm.
So
I totally get that. Like for me, I see stuff with my friends that they do stuff. I'm like, man, that's really cool. Or just watching YouTube videos of people in science and things that do cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I'd have a hard time narrow down like who I would look up to consistently.
Because like, dude, there's how many billions of people in this world now? Like everybody has something that they're amazing at.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people who are good at art. There's a ton of people who are good at writing. There's a ton of people who are good at like making music, and they all can do something unique with it.
Yeah.
Something in their own style, and it's just like it. Yeah. You don't have to be like famous or anything for it to inspire somebody.
I agree.
And some people are just like, oh yeah, you look up to like somebody who's famous or somebody who's in the spotlight because they're there.
Yeah.
They're in the public eye.
Yeah.
But if you dig a bit, go local or something, and like find people who like in smaller places, like on Twitch, YouTube, or whatnot.
Yeah.
And you go even deeper. You go to like writing pages like Wattpad or something like that, dude. Mm-hmm. There's like people who put out good content that inspire people too.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like for some of the stuff I'm into, I could find lots of people that inspire me.
Yeah.
Whether it's like music, video games, hobby, like people that are just hobbyists, people that like to do stuff.
Yeah.
It inspires me that I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
This person didn't know how to do it, and then they spent time doing it, and now they know how to.
Yeah, it's because they're putting like, it's something they love to do, and that's what they're doing,
Yeah.
And then it's like one of the crazy things is, oh man, who was it? I forgot his name, but there's a guy who pretty much just like does these weird, quirky, just like PC stuff. He works on like older PCs, and it's just like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, he's going out of his way to find all these old contraptions and whatnot. It's like, I'm just reviewing these old PC PCs I find, and like old GPUs, and just testing them on games. Like, man, like, this is it's before our time and whatnot.
Yeah,
in like gaming and stuff. But like, he's like, I think he's younger than us too, which was crazy. So he's just like, I want to see how they played games back then, or like why these things worked, or how they are.
Yeah.
And every time his videos pop up on it, I was like, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's one thing to like build a virtual machine to play something, but actually having whatever time period this machine came from, like early 2000s or 90s, like
I think one of the coolest systems he has is like an old 486 compact that he uses to play DOS games. It was like, dude, that's so cool. It's like that's why I started computer gaming stuff on, with like old freeware.
Freeware, 100%.
And like seeing that again, I was like, man, that brings back a lot of memories. I kind of want to go find like some old freaking freeware games and like buy an old system and play them again.
Demo discs for stuff. Like, it's weird to think about. Games are so almost like the Wild West in the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
when you would find a game or a demo disc from like a magazine, you're like, it would be just enough to be like, do I want to rent this game, or, if I save my money, I could buy it.
Yeah.
But a lot of old computer games as well look really, I don't know, dated, but it's like at the time it was so like revolutionary, 3D, and the controls, like how things have evolved since back then.
The controls were complete garbage
Yeah.
back then. It's just like,
there wasn't a uniform way to do it. Like, you'd have like the arrows and then like random keys.
This is weird. You're like, man, why am I on the arrow keys? Like, there's so much of the keyboard I'm not using.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was the war between like the arrow keys and WASD.
Yeah.
Mouse,
keyboard, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go to the fun, silly questions.
Goofball questions.
If you were a ghost, how would you haunt people?
I would terrorize the shit out of it, dude.
Hell yeah. That's how I feel. Like, the answer
like,
I give is just like, be annoying enough to someone to like not make them feel like they have a ghost haunting them.
No, I'd go full blown. It's like, bro, what can I do here right now? Let's do it. Let's go freaking ham. I want to, like, dude, it's If you're gonna do something, you might as well go all out.
Go all in. I love it. What food could you eat every day?
Chicken katsu.
That is a good choice. Favorite subject in school?
Science, actually. Yeah, I of all the classes that I've done, like I've never really gotten a bad grade in science, and I never felt like I've had to try in there, even though it's like, it was just interesting. Science is interesting.
I like science because it's so definitive.
Yeah.
Like, you can test it yourself.
Yeah. And like, I mean, if you sprinkle in a little bit of math for like physics and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah. But it's just like, you learn the rules of the world is essentially it. That's basically that. It's like, figuring out how stuff works is all. Like, my favorite thing, and it's the reason why I take stuff apart. It's the reason why I learn new skills and whatnot. Yeah, it's like, I just want to know how it works, and it applies to everything too. Like the refrigerator, dude. Yeah, let's figure out how it works. Yeah, it's like, and I want to know the science behind it. Like, same thing with like internal combustion engines, like turboprops, turbofans, like jet engines and stuff like that. Like, I have so much useless knowledge, but it's all science related because I just want to know how stuff works.
Yeah, I feel you completely. Like, we're surrounded by so much technology that it just works, that like, you don't think about all the revisions and things that had to happen before this product came out. Yeah. And I think that stuff's really cool. Like, wanting to know more, I feel like goes a long way, just like in life. Like, if you want to know how something works, you spend the time. Some people are like, I don't have time for this. And it's like, well, you could,
You could, yeah. Or you could always keep it as like the black magic box that it is, or you can actually learn how it works. I think it's helpful. Yeah. Because it increases your understanding of the world and everything else. And it's like, you don't come up with idiot solutions or idiot fixes for things. Like,
yeah. You have to have at least some kind of basic understanding before you can like see how it progresses and what it is. Yeah. Let's see. What's the nicest thing someone has done for you?
I have to dig for this one.
That's okay. If you want to move on to another question while you think, here's an easy one. Have you ever had a crush on a cartoon character?
Oh, yes. Yes. Jessica Rabbit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Any more?
No.
I've got a long list.
I got the list of waifus. Hang on, let me pull it out.
Yeah, let me know your waifus.
Let's see. I mean, there's designs that I find like attractive now, but it's not like I wouldn't say I have a crush on them.
That's fair.
So like let's go back to VTubers. There's one that I'm actually pretty freaking I'm actually really interested in, right? But she's very self-centered. You know, it's like it's not like I can fix her type of girl. She's just like she puts in a lot of work and whatnot. You know, she does voice acting and music production and stuff too, which like she sings and whatnot. And I like that's cool. That's the same hobby I have.
Yeah.
You know, and of course all VTubers game and whatnot. And yeah, but like I find her character design to be extremely cute. I was like, yeah,
interesting.
And then depending on what outfit, she's like, oh yeah, she's pretty cool looking too.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's Oro Crony from HoloLens, by the way. Yeah, I guess yeah, that would be like the past one and like the current one, I guess.
So. Okay, I love it. If you could be a hero or a villain, who would you be?
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I find being a hero would be very very limiting.
Yeah,
you know, but so it would obviously be a villain, but there's a catch to it, right? I want to be the villain that's doing it for a good cause, but becomes a villain in order to like accomplish that. Like take for example, fucking what's his name, Lelouch from Code Geass, right? Have you seen Code Geass? Yeah. So you know how he organizes all that stuff, and then he becomes a freaking emperor just to make everybody hate him, but he's doing it to like you know, freaking unite the world. And to like make everything good. Of course, you can't really unite the world. And then in the movie Lelouch of the Resurrection, there's like another country that just gets mad at him because they stole. Well, they killed the primary export of that country, which was child soldiers. You know, so like yes, he goes back to being a villain again. But that's the kind of villain that I would want to be.
One with kind of purpose. Yeah,
one with purpose and drive, and it's like it's the exact same thing as a hero, except you're just doing evil things. But is he really a villain? To some people, yeah. You know, it's just you know, in that moment he became a villain.
Yeah,
but he really wasn't.
I thought about like this question of being a villain, but also like what I don't know enough comic books or if something does exist, if like during the day you're a hero but at night you're a villain, where you're like constantly chasing after this villain but you don't realize that it's yourself, that you're like
like a split personality.
Yeah like you don't realize it, like you kind of just like have some weird distorted thought of when you're going to bed you're not actually sleeping, so you're just in this cycle of like never resting, and that kind of causes like psychosis.
That would be a cool story, actually. It's just you're you know, during the night he's asleep, but he's not.
Yeah,
it's just his subconscious goes and does freaking the most heinous crimes.
yeah. And it's like you never catch up to them because like you are the person that you're actively seeking.
Yeah, and it's like why do all these clues not make sense?
Yeah, like knowing yourself.
Yeah.
It's
like, but I was there earlier today. Yeah. You know, it's like, what?
None of this makes sense. If you won the lottery, what would you do first? Like, I know the safe answer is to invest it and all of that stuff, but if you had to, like, buy something stupid and a guilt-free thing.
Guilt-free thing. That's hard, because like if you had asked me 10 years earlier, it would to be buy whatever car that I was lusting over.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But now it's just like, you know what? Instantly, it's like I would not even touch that money for the year until like the year after. So like whatever, like pay off whatever taxes are, you know, claim for that year, because you have to pay taxes anyway. It's not lottery winnings, right? And then it's like I would dump a good portion of that into like investments and stuff and like the savings or whatnot, just so I can not have to work. And then probably pay off my parents' house and like we're buying a house or something, and like just do the parents' stuff first. Like it's after all that's been done, and I can like be okay with, you know, like, yeah, already investment safe, parent stuff is taken care of, then I do stuff for myself.
Yeah.
You know, like 10 years ago, I don't know, whatever was what car did I like 10 years ago? I don't even know, dude. I don't even remember.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a safe bet for most people,
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
security for yourself and your family.
Yeah. And it's just like, if you have the capital to do it. It's like the easiest. It's easy at that point, because like right now, you know, funneling money into like investments or your 401 or something,
Yeah.
like it does take away from your, you know, your daily stuff, but you have an excess amount, dude, capitalize on that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you can capitalize off of it later with interest and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if I had to do something now, if I have to absolutely had to pick, it's between buying a Cayman GT4 or a Lotus Emira.
Nice.
Those two are my favorite cars at the moment, just because like a Lotus it's absolutely beautiful, and a Cayman is like it's a Porsche.
I love it.
Yeah.
How do you like to be comforted when you're sad or upset?
Feed me.
Ah, good answer. Yeah, that I feel like food is such a universal thing that if anyone's feeling sad or upset, to like go out, have somewhere, eat somewhere nice. And just,
yeah, it's just like just take me out for anything. Just like find a way to get my mind from being sad.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like that'll always be a good thing. Just because like even if it's just like, hey, you want to come and like fling rocks into this gigantic chasm for no reason, you make me hike up like 5 miles up this stupid mountain for like, okay, yeah, drag my ass out there, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, because by the time we get there, like I'll complain about it, but then maybe I'll want to talk about it too. Maybe it's just like, yeah,
that's
it's like, you feeling better? It's like, no, I still feel like shit, but at least I'm not freaking like moping around about it, you know.
Yeah, at least you're in a 5 mile hike throwing some rocks at something.
Yeah, it's just like
you may be upset, but yeah, here I am.
It's like, oh man, the stupid brutal things like that are probably the funnest ones too, because like, oh yeah, you want to like go out here and just slap each other with tortillas? Why? Just come on.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like this is so stupid, but you know, anything to take the mind to, you know, get my mindset off of that, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, I feel like the more absurd or random, the more I'm more likely to go do said thing.
Yeah.
I don't need to know the reason. Like,
yeah.
Tortilla slap. I'm there. Where are we doing it? Why are we doing that? I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, it's like the other thing is like, yeah, feed me, but feed me something new. It's like, hey, there's this new place you want to try. It's like, sure, why not?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What do you consider your best physical feature?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, some of these questions, I feel like some people either you know or you don't. But if you don't know, that's like, okay.
Yeah, like, because like I'm not vain enough to like stare in the fucking mirror and be like, oh, you know, I don't do that. You know, there's times where it's like, yeah, I have a pretty nice jawline and whatnot, but it's like whatever.
Yeah, I think stuff like that's just as equal.
Yeah.
Someone's like, oh, my biceps, as much as someone you're like, yeah, I just like how I look. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everything could be an answer. Like, there's not anything specific unless you know what you're about. Who was your first friend, and are they still in your life?
It was actually before Cyril. There was a kid named Nick Allen. He sadly moved away when we were like in second or third grade or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I've hung out with him a few times after that, but I haven't seen him in 30 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I haven't. We've been like far. Actually, no, it's less than that, because like it was when Diablo came out, which was like what, 98?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so a little bit less than 30 years.
Damn.
It's like 27. Fucking shit.
Yeah, man, we're old. It doesn't feel that long ago, but man. time flies.
Yeah.
What's the biggest lesson your last relationship taught you?
How to let go.
Hmm.
And the mountain biking actually helped a lot with it too,
Hmm.
because it was after that. It was like, I was like moping around and it didn't. It's not quite obvious, but I was like moping around and just putting it off for such a long time. Actually dealing with the breakup for a long time.
Yeah.
And I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to buy a bike. And going out and riding, like, for the first part of 2008, I mostly went by myself.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get better at riding, at going faster and whatnot. And one of the things that you have to do is to you have to learn to let go. So because one of the things that riding down a mountain at like 20 to 30 miles an hour on narrow ass trails, right, where there's rocks and drops and all this other shit.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not gonna lie about that. It's a scary experience, especially because you're just like, things are going so fast. It's narrow. It's the exact same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get better, in order to get faster, you have to learn to let go of those fears.
Yeah.
And as I continued riding and whatnot, I was like, wait, let me just go back and like apply those to like what I was feeling, because there were unresolved emotions that I had, and unresolved thoughts, and I just, like, as I was pedaling up, I would think about them, and like, why am I still holding on to this? Why am I still letting it affect me?
Yeah.
And like this came to just came to that realization, like, this shouldn't be something that I would need an answer to, or that I need to resolve or something. It's already said and done. I just have to put things behind me.
Yeah.
And just keep going, because
that's all you can do, right?
It's all you can do. And like, wanting to, be a faster rider, if I want to get, more, move on, that's what I have to do. Just have to let go.
Yeah.
It's like a brutal lesson, because it's like, a lot of people say it, just like, yeah, look, it's, you see it like just stereotyped in like a lot of like media and whatnot. It's like, hey, yeah, you just have to let go. It's like, well, you have to get over things, and it's true.
Yeah.
Right. But it's hard.
It's hard in that moment, man.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard in that moment. It's hard when you're stuck on it, and it's hard when there's like I understand why people have so many weird fucking rituals for it. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take all their stuff and fucking burn it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all this stuff. Like anything to symbolize it. It's like, to me, I don't understand it, because it's just something that you do.
Yeah.
And like, attaching an emotion or something, it's like, how do people get attached to things like that? Because I never have been.
Yeah.
You can, like, if somebody were to steal everything from me, to, like, burn down my house, fucking steal my car, like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Material they're just materials. I don't care about them.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, but like, because I can always go out and buy and replace and stuff. I can't do that with people, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And like, that's why it was hard for me, on the entire letting go part, because it's like, people are the most irreplaceable thing in this world. So, being able to go out and just be stuck in my head and just learning, like, yeah, I need to release whatever this stuff is. Like I've come to terms with it.
Yeah.
I just need to let it go at that point. I just need to, like, yeah. And like I said, with the all the rituals and stuff, like, if people find attaching their emotions to something like that to help them out, then, like, I more power to them. I think it's fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, it works.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff's difficult because no one heals the same way.
Yeah,
and like, there isn't one way to move on from someone.
Yeah.
It's like the feeling you get letting go of the relationship and the person is difficult because they became such an ingrained part of your life.
Oh yeah.
And then having to just not talk anymore kind of hurts, because like if you enjoy people, you know, like you're saying, material things are just things. People are replaceable, and it's hard to move on essentially from said person. Whether it was through good terms or bad, it's still difficult to just like go your own direction. You just have to keep going.
Yeah, it's like it's a brutal thing.
Who was your very first crush?
There was a girl. I think it was in like elementary, like 5th or 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Wendy. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's weird because like that was my first crush. After we went to middle school, I didn't see her at all, and I got to see her again in high school.
Yeah.
In Japanese class, she sat next to me. I was like, "Holy shit, she's cute."
Yeah.
She's like even cuter than I remember. It's like, oh yeah, we're growing up and stuff. So.
I love that.
Yeah, this is like it's weird. But at that time, like, I wasn't really interested in her anymore. I don't remember why.
Yeah, people change, right?
Yeah.
Have you been on a blind date?
Actually, no. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
To be on a blind date because it's like how it's
weird because the expectation is that it's a date, but not knowing the person would be weird.
Yeah, because like it's you're going in to connect with somebody who may not have anything in common with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, like,
and like,
what do you do?
Yeah, it's like you obviously it's some of the advice I've seen for like blind date stuff. It's like, oh yeah, just go and be yourself, just relax. Like, how the fuck are you gonna go be yourself and relax when you're gonna be meeting somebody that you have no idea like. you just don't. You don't know if they're a serial killer. Yeah. You don't know if it's like some freaking yeah, it's the gamut is wide.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good way to put it.
It could be just like the most boring person that you've ever met. It's like, yeah, I'm just a homebody.
Yeah,
right. Or it could be like some freaking crazy like since we're guys like some freaking cougar who's always out on like on the weekends like freaking doing blow and freaking just like trying to find the youngest guy. It's like what crypto are you into? Or something, you just don't know.
Yeah. Someone trying to sell you on something.
OnlyFans girls.
Yeah. What do you fear the most?
Dying. And it's not because of like the unknown parts. It's I'm afraid of dying because I know what I'm going to miss and not have anymore. It's kind of weird. And it's not like I say it and it sounds like kind of a selfish thing, but like
I get what you mean.
Yeah, and as the older I get, and with all the relationships I have, I've come to realize that like I am somewhat important to these people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't keep me in their lives anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so it's not like end of life dying. It's like dying between now and end of life, you know, like unexpectedly. That's what that terrifies me more because like, I would like to think that I've brought some sort of good or some sort of change or like some sort of inspiration, like something, just something small, like that made me worth being a friend to.
Yeah, I get.
And
you.
it's like not being there for the people that care for me terrifies me the most, because I'm like, well, with like Randy and Taylor and stuff, like what if they stop going mountain biking and stuff,
Yeah, I think about that.
Like with you, like if you stop making music and stuff, like because the things that we do and how we like communicate and how we spend time with each other, we always put our interests and stuff into it,
Yeah.
And it's like hearing the stuff that you made freaking just motivates me to do more of my stuff,
Mm-hmm.
seeing like freaking Randy and Taylor do better at biking makes me want to do better and
Yeah.
find more trails to ride with them and stuff like and like same thing with Jeff, like I want to pick up playing guitar again because right now Jeff is a lot better than me because he's been able to spend fucking like hours a day like playing, and
yeah, I think that's hard, like that void of you as a person in your friendships being just gone forever. And like you said, it's nice to have similar interests and to be working on stuff. Makes you want to do more, like to experience more, just because because it adds value to yourself, but also in making your friendships closer.
Yeah, you're enriching your relationships.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, and like that terrifies me. I don't know why it does that, and it's just like
it's weird because like there will be a point where your life will cease to exist, and everyone else will have to just live on without you until their time comes, and then it's part of life, and it's really weird to think about. It's around us all the time. We could die tomorrow, but the time you have here today is meant doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And like, could you have done anything different or something more?
Yeah.
But those are just like questions you probably won't ever have answers to.
You'll never have answers to.
Yeah.
And like I think it's also funny that like in the grand scheme of things, that's super insignificant.
Yeah.
Like in a world, you shift your point of view from like in the world, who freaking cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
exactly.
it's like to me, it matters a lot.
Yeah.
And like one of the things that I kind of learned like over like the past, I don't know, 5-6 years is like somebody's worldview, like how some people like treat things around them or react a certain way is also super dependent on the worldview.
Yeah.
And even though I can see it from like different like mine and from like the world's, like I wasn't able to see it from their point of view. Right?
Yeah.
And then actually this has been quite a bit longer. It's like 7-8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to actually realize like, yeah, like from their point of view, it's it matters to them a lot more and why it matters to them and stuff. And that helped out a lot.
Yeah.
That's also one of the things I learned from like the last breakup too, just because like it is that time frame. Yeah, it's like 8 years now.
Damn. Fuck. Yeah, I think about the reasons for me doing this too is like if anything happens to someone, like there are times where I just wish I could hear someone's voice again.
Mm-hmm.
And like there have been some people that passed away in my life that I wish I could have this interaction, like a conversation, just so I could hear them say stuff again. But I'm like, I just got to do it now. Like I put it off for so long that now that I'm actually doing it, it feels good. Like I do want to continue doing this as like for myself as well as for my friends, checking up on them, see how life is going. Because I find value in it. Just like just talking, just shooting the shit, whatever. Like asking these questions I probably would have never known. Like knowing so many people a good portion of my life and just never knowing some of these stuff. Like
that reminds me that pulling back to like one of the questions earlier, a book that actually made a huge impact. Mm-hmm. There's a book called Post Secret, right? So I don't remember the guy's last name, but his name's like Jordan or Gordon or something like that. He left a bunch of postcards out, and it's like, write your deepest, darkest secret, send it in anonymously, and he made it into a book. And some of them are actually really freaking. There's like really happy secrets. There's really like sad secrets. It runs the entire gamut of it. And I recently found something similar to that, but it was on Instagram. It's called the Voicemail Project. So they just leave a number and like. People call and leave voicemails, and a lot of them are pretty sad because it's like, to connect with what you were saying. It's a lot of people just miss some loved ones.
Yeah.
And I listened to quite a few of them one night, and I was like, damn, if I were to call in and leave a message, who would I leave it for, and what would I say? Because it's a difficult thing. Let's be honest here. Like I feel like a lot of the times people aren't honest with each other.
Yeah.
And it's just because like, oh, we're trying to like coexist and be, if we were completely honest with each other, that would lead to some friction, and some people just don't deal well with that.
Yeah.
But it's important to be able to, get to that point to communicate with it. And I feel like not you and I specifically, or what, like even within our friend group, there's like I'd probably like to have like a candid conversation with them, but there's just never the time to.
Yeah.
And I expect people to be honest with me.
Yeah.
If I'm being, call me out and like stuff like that. But like going back to it, like it makes me wonder, like how could I be honest with somebody, or what would I would say to them or whatnot in that situation? And it's like I believe I've been pretty honest with everybody I've met and known so far, But like it's I don't know, that's hard.
Yeah, I feel you. Getting close towards the end of the
questions.
Yeah. For me, how can I be a better friend to you?
Dude, just invite me out for more stuff. That's it. Whenever you go out and do something, yeah. I should probably ask you the same question too. Like, you probably should come out and see movies with me and Paul, or hang out and whatnot.
Yeah.
We should probably game together more often too, honestly.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I kind of miss all that stuff, and I've really thought about having something sooner rather than later of a
LAN party.
Yeah, like a LAN party or a tournament, like I used to with Cyril. Have prizes and have coming up with something for all of us to hang out again. Like, that's what I want the most, is to come up with something and find a time that works for everyone and just do it. Like, I know everyone is going to be busy and stuff.
Yeah, it's just getting harder as we're getting older, just because we're always busy with work. And like Randy's got freaking Silas, you know, and like John's in another part of the world.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I've thought about stuff like how Cyril can even still participate remotely by him, like a high score of something.
Yeah.
Just to have everyone kind of just here together, like kind of what we used to do, playing video games. But hopefully, I'm thinking sometime late spring, early summer, finding a time and date and just telling everyone, this is what I'm doing. Like, I want you to be there. Just to make it happen. So the last part of this is I'm going to ask you questions other guests have come up with, and then at the end of it, you get to come up with a new question to ask the next person I have.
Keep the chain going.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So the first question is, what color underwear are you wearing?
Red. Actually, it was like red and black checkered.
Sweet.
Yeah.
This one. Relationship goals. If you were in a relationship, is there anything you would want to be doing with someone?
Relationship goals if I was in a relationship. Like dude. Oh man. Let's see. That's really dependent on like who,
the person.
Like, on the person and like, where we're at. But it's like, I guess the simplest answer is like, set some goals together and reach. But that doesn't answer the question. Like,
I think for me, like traveling with someone, the significant other, that's what I want to do. Just be consistent about it. Like, it doesn't have to be major cities or anything all the time. You can just go travel throughout the year. Go places we haven't been, hikes and stuff.
You know what? I think I have one. It's to consistently see each other smile.
I love that. That's a good one. If you could travel anywhere in the world with no limit on expense, where would you go and what would you do?
That's hard. You know what? I want to go to pretty much like, definitely would take the bike and I would want to ride like crazy high altitude alpine trails in like different locations, just because like it's always beautiful and whatnot. Europe has some pretty cool places. Europe has like some crazy mountain ranges. I want to ride in Japan. I don't know if anywhere in Asia has some. Like, it's not really a thing there. It's like there are some, like, I've seen some Cambodian mountain bikers, right? And they're just like freaking, it's pure backcountry stuff, man. There's like no trails or anything. Like, that's crazy. I want to do that. That'd be cool. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It's like I want to see the world from my own lens, you know, and that's like one of the things about it, like about mountain biking is like there's always like hub towns that you kind of go to, and then you branch out from there. Depending on how far you branch out from, you run into different things, but it's always like you always run into interesting people, you know, and doing that on a world basis, where, you know, sometimes you're going out to like remote places and riding, that would be cool, you know. So
I love it. What was your first amusement park?
First amusement park? Probably wait. Trying to remember if my parents took me to like Six Flags or anything out in California. We were out there, but no, I think it's Lagoon, man.
Lagoon, yeah. Seems very common.
Well, it's like it's the only amusement park in like we're not the Midwest, but we're not West either.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you'd have to travel far if Lagoon wasn't here to go somewhere. Who is the most important person in your life, and why do you choose yourself?
Wow, that's it's like they picked the answer for you.
Yeah.
First off, I'm not the most important person in my life. No, just kidding. No, how the hell do I answer this?
It's a bit hard, because like the expectation is like to love or to choose yourself because you are the most important person.
Right.
If you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't be there for others, and kind of just trickles down from there.
But it's like of all the people who say like, practice self-love and stuff, they still have vices and everything, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's me too. I freaking vape still. And I've cut down on drinking quite a bit. Like the only time I've actually drank now is for work. When I go out with like the C-suite and whatnot. Yeah. Because like they have a drink. It's like, okay, I'm only having one then. Yeah. Or like during my birthday streams. Yeah. Like even if I'm like out hanging with you guys or whatnot for like a get together, like I only have like one or two beers at the most. Maybe a shot or two. Yeah. You know, like I've cut back on drinking a lot. But like, man, I think it's like eventually recognizing that I do need to take better care of myself is like the reason for it.
Yeah, I find that for myself too.
Yeah. What was the question?
Who is the most important person in your life, and why do you choose yourself?
Taking
care of you.
Another part of it is like investing in myself too, because like, you know, like I'm going to freaking WGU to get a computer science bachelor, no, not computer science, IT, a bachelor's in IT. Yeah. Right, and then it accelerates into a master's of business management. Right, because I do want to eventually get to like a CIO, CSO, no, not CSO, CTO position, or at least like a VP of systems or something like that. You know? Yeah, it's a goal. Like for the longest time, I didn't really consider that, but you know, it's something I want to do now. Nice. Even if I can't do that, like eventually, hey, like maybe open up my own consulting firm and just do consulting for IT for companies and stuff. Yeah, you know, that could be good money. That's what my VP used to do, and he landed a job with VP of systems. Like, yeah,
nice.
So it's good to have like that resource. I guess it's a resource, but like that sort of mentorship as well, because you know he did that. He did what I wanted to do. Yeah. So that's yeah. also continuing to like put time into my hobbies and whatnot. One, it's like it's great stress relief.
Yeah.
It's personal growth because, like I said, like the entire letting go thing from mountain biking that helped out a lot. And like I really should continue making music, or like trying to.
Yeah.
Because that helps me more with like the actually have too much, like I kind of split things up into like stuff to do with the brain, stuff to do with the body. Can you know, you have to have like at least one of each to like kind of balance them.
I totally get that.
Yeah. And it's like it's good for you to, you know, have those needs met. Yeah, I think that's why.
Nice.
It's just, you know, personal growth. It's something I didn't think of, you know, when, you know, 20 years ago or whatnot. It matters a lot now, just because, you know, our lives we're like halfway through them. So
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Just think about that. How do you go about showing up for yourself? Like, how do you go about showing love to like others, or what to you is showing love?
Hang on, wait. I need some context for this question.
Question is, how do you show up for yourself, and how do you go about showing love?
How do I show up for myself?
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard because like there are a lot of times where I'm just like, you know, putting myself down and whatnot, like freaking like struggling with whatever I'm trying to do, and that's part of the masochist thing. It's like I enjoy it, but at the same time I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate struggling with things, you know. But it's fun. It helps me grow, and I realize I kind of like that though.
Yeah.
So I like the learning part, but I hate the actual struggle.
Yeah.
So,
like for me, I feel like I'm my best cheerleader, but also my best hater.
Yeah,
like,
obviously, all the time. It's like, yeah, it's like if I make something, I don't care if it's like something shitty. It's like, hey, I put something out. You know, it's like, but I don't really care for people to praise it either. I don't want them to.
Yeah.
Unless they genuinely like it.
Yeah.
You know, because like to me, I feel like if I showed you guys like some song or something I'm working on, like I kind of like downgrade the praise you guys give me, because like you're just saying it because I'm your friend, because that's the mentality of it.
I get you completely.
Yeah,
man.
it's like
it is like a.
I want you to criticize the fuck out of me.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, Richie, this sucks. I know you could do better.
Yeah,
you know, but like at the same time, like I think it's because I can't exactly do that for myself either.
Yeah,
you know?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, when you spend a lot of time doing something and you're proud of it in your own way, and you release it, you're expecting some kind of feedback, and when you don't get any, it's like, then it turns into, well, maybe they don't like it and they just don't want to tell me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck it all. Like it's like a weird balance of like thinking about a lot of different things when you release something or you put something from yourself out there, and what comes from that.
Yeah, and there's the flip side of it too, like, because like I think there's sometimes where like I did a really good job and I put it out and like nobody says anything bad about it. It's like, oh, that's probably, is it really a good job? It makes you kind of doubt yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And like there's times like, and that just feeds into the loop where like if you put something out and you're like super critical of it, but everybody likes it, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
it's brutal, and so like the loop just keeps going.
Yeah.
Like but for the showing love part, like I have no idea. I this is mainly with Maria, right? But I tend to criticize her and just like I like to poke fun of her and just like, you know, just like what is it? What's the term? I think I'm her biggest critic when she comes to do stuff. He's like, you can do better. You can do like, so you got this like, that's too bad. It's like, you know, it's just cutting her off at the knee. It's like I do it out of a place of love, because I know it's like, yes, you're winning, and then of course I do want to congratulate her, but in the moment in time it's just like,
yeah.
you know.
I love it. Like you're like the villain. In the story of whatever is going on.
Yeah. But like, you know, I do want her to know, like, yeah, I'm proud of her, like, her personal growth, and like, you know, coming to like seeing her the last like what year and a half or so after the entire their wedding and whatnot, she's grown a lot more as a person. I do see that.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody's seen it, and it's nice. It's nice to see that happen. It's like Maria is definitely a late bloomer, and yeah. So I guess like if I show love to people, it's either being like friendly and playful, and like not in a condescending way. I don't know. Am I ever condescending?
No, like I think a lot of it is like you said, playful.
Yeah,
like it's like the sarcasm.
Yeah,
like yeah. I feel like it's in a way a love language, depending on the person you're talking to.
Yeah,
you kind of just give them a hard time. But in reality, you're like, I love you deeply.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't like you or whatever. Like, I'm sorry if it ever came off that way, but I'm just kind of a jerk, but in a way that's like, I'm not actually like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now people are going to watch and be like, oh, yeah, when Richie's being excessively nice to me, he doesn't actually like me. No, I do like you too. Yeah. It's like I just kind of know people where I can like I can fry Taylor's ass as hard as I can, you know. Yeah. And because that's our love language between each other, you know. But some people just won't be able to do that, and like I don't know why I've decided to be the villain for Maria. I think it's just fun. I think it's just like a Scorpio thing. Mm-hmm. That's a Maria answer right there, but it's like, oh yeah, it's like friendly competition. Scorpios love each other and they hate each other at the same time.
That's funny. So, if the second toe on their foot is bigger than their big toe, is that a deal breaker?
No. Why? Why would it be a deal breaker? How could it be a deal breaker?
Some people have everyone has their thing.
It's like, wait, does that person have a foot fetish or something? That's the only thing I can think of that would matter. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go down and suck these toes. Like, oh no, that middle toe's too big. Not for me.
Not for
all
me.
Right, boys, I'm out.
Yeah, I gotta cut it somewhere. My boundaries. That's funny. What in life are you most passionate about and why?
Always will be learning, because like when I was like I don't remember. I've always been curious, you know, about things and just learning in general. And like I've adopted the mantra like sometime in high school, like I will always forever be a student. No matter what I learn, and if I reach a level of mastery of it, I will always be a student, because there's always like new things to learn. Technology is like the I think that's why I decided to stay in technology or in IT, because like there's always a bunch of new stuff coming out.
Yeah,
there's
all the time. Yeah.
And like even if you've learned something, there will be changes, it advances, and keeps going and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's like even like. God, even playing guitar, you know, you learn different styles and everything. And then, like, back in, like, 2003, some guy came up with, like, some crazy finger style playing. And it was like, nobody knew you could play a guitar like that, you know? And it's like, cool, I want to learn how to do that. Like, it's freaking hard. It's freaking, like, the coordination you have to do with, like, learn. It's like, it's that I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'll admit that I can't do it. So. But, like, the drive to, like, at least, you know, to learn about it and be aware of stuff, that would be it, man.
Yeah.
So.
Did you drink water today, and are you going to make sure you consistently hydrate with water?
Yes, I did drink water today. There's some days where, like, I'll drink, like, 64 to, like, 120 ounces. I keep track, because, like, usually if it's, like, a water bottle from the fridge at work, it's like I grab 2 or 3, 4 of them. And when I get home, I'll drink some water, too. I drink water before I go to bed. Like, drink an entire glass, just because, like, I hate waking up and feeling all, like, dehydrated. Yeah. It's horrible. It's like,
If you could go back in time and talk to your 10-year-old self, what would you tell yourself? Invest in crypto. Just kidding.
Let's see. I think that's when my grandpa died. When we were in 4th grade then or something. That sounds about right. And that would probably be like my first time dealing with loss. So what would I tell my 10-year-old self? It doesn't get any easier. You know, it like even losing people in like in a relationship wise, that's pretty much almost on the same level as losing somebody, like, you know, somebody passing away that's really close to you.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what's kind of happening. Yeah, it is a small world. Maybe you'll run into him again.
Yeah.
But like, you know, essentially when a relationship ends, that person's kind of dead to you.
Yeah.
And, you know, growing up, I've had to go to quite a few funerals, a lot more than I care to admit. And there's one point in time where it's like, yeah, it's just a straight span of like 7 years. It was a funeral every fucking year, you know? And if I would go back and tell them, yeah, it doesn't get any easier, but you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, you'll learn how to deal, how to like cope. Cope is like a seriously bad word, but it really is though. You're coping with it for a while. You know?
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, things will be okay. Not in the same sense where it's like, you know, everything will be bright and shiny again, because we all go through ups and downs. Life is a series of ups and downs. You know?
Yeah.
And that's just how you have to move through things, just one step at a time. That's it.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
All right. So now you get to ask a question. The next person. Any question. As you could tell, they're all very unique and random, and I love it.
I'm debating whether I should ask like a question that is silly or something that would like put them deep in thought, because I'm curious about both, because like I do want to be silly and just ask like some stupid question, is like and it's just fun, but at the same time I'm curious as to what people will answer for like certain things. Let's see. I guess we'll have to go with the trolley question. Would you sacrifice your family and loved ones to save the world? Or would you sacrifice the world to save your family and loved ones? And it's not like, oh yeah, like this is like, you know, not by natural things. Like you are the cause of it. Like you choose.
Yeah.
You know, like what side would they be on?
I choose one side, then go back, and then do the other. Just kidding. Balance in the world.
Yeah, it's basically the trolley question. Like, yeah. So
that's a good question.
Like, here's the reasoning behind why I'm curious about this, is because so God, there was like a funny, I think it was like an Instagram reel or something, you know, and he's this guy had talked to his new girlfriend's dad or something, and he was like, what would you do for my daughter? And he's like, no. The question is, what wouldn't I do? Like, and it's like, that's good. Because what, like, if, like, he loves and cares for this person so much.
Yeah.
What would he not do?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, would he nuke an entire country for it's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what wouldn't you do for the person you love and care for?
I'll be thinking about that.
Yeah. And that it plays into the trolley question too. Is like, you know, I've given them like a thing. That's the limit. It's like, but would you do it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you do it? Yeah.
Save humanity, save the world. Would you sacrifice your family, or would you keep your family? I think some people would watch the world burn. They save their loved ones.
I'm kind of in that camp. It's like, yeah, dude, save my family, friends. All right, fuck you, world.
Yeah.
It's like that's really harsh, but yeah.
We all die sometime.
We all die sometime, and I wouldn't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Which is like,
yeah.
Richie, you're starting to sound like a madman. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, hear me out. Hear me out, right? Anonymous people mean nothing.
Yeah. That's true.
But it's funny because they all have dreams, and I'm aware that they all have dreams and people they care for and all this other stuff too. And killing is morally it's wrong.
Yeah.
But this is hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical. Yeah.
But would you actually do it? Yes.
That's funny. All right, Richie. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Yep. This is how long did we go?
About an hour 45.
Jesus Christ.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yep.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.